Gracias, Jorge. Bueno, primero por decir, I'm going to speak in English for a different reason. Last year I gave a talk in Spanish about Alamos, and I appreciate your attention to the Alamos project, Minaurum's flagship project. But I'm going to spring a surprise on you. I'm not going to talk about Alamos. If you have any questions about it, you're free to welcome. What's so funny about that? Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about something else, and it's a surprise, and unfortunately, it's a sad surprise. I'm going to talk about David Jones. ¿Puede prender el primer dispositivo? David Jones was a personal friend of mine. We met when we were about 19 or 20 years old in college. He and Peter McGaw are the founders of Minaurum Gold, and they insisted on hiring me as Vice President of Exploration for Minaurum as a result of our long-standing friendship. Dave died unexpectedly last December, on the 27th of December. He spent nearly 30 years working in Mexico, as many of you know, and was responsible, among other things, for the discovery of the Los Filos deposit in Guerrero, working with Teck. A little later, after Los Filos, and working with Minaurum in his capacity as director, and probably the most active member of the technical committee of my company, Dave worked to a great extent in Guerrero and in Oaxaca, working on VMS-type deposits and epithermal deposits. And if you remember his very lively talk last year, where he spoke about calderas, and you may or may not have picked up he was indirectly chastising me a little bit about a difference of opinion on that. Dave and I clashed a lot. We spent a lot of time together. He invited me on a great deal of adventures, skiing in northern New Mexico, hiking in the Colorado Plateau. He introduced me to caving, which has turned out to be an important activity for me. Doesn't pay, but it's a hell of a lot of fun, and I owe Dave for that. Dave was an important member of the climbing community. I don't know how many people here in Mexico in the exploration community know that. Dave was responsible for several of the first ascents on the big walls in Zion National Park that he did in the late 1970s and early 1980s, when he would take time off from exploring for uranium on the Colorado Plateau. One of his accomplishments was climbing. Of course, he wasn't the first person, but to climb Mount Robeson in the Canadian Rockies, which is a very challenging climb. Dave was introduced to caving and cave exploration by his older brother, Peter, and dragged me on my very first cave trip. And Dave was responsible for several of the first discoveries of major cave passages in Lechuguilla Cave in Carlsbad National Park in New Mexico, which is one of the said to be, and I believe it, one of the world's most beautiful caves. It's quite extensive. I think Dave was personally responsible for the discovery of perhaps 20 miles or 30 kilometers of virgin passage in that cave. Later, Dave he did quite a bit of cave exploration in Oaxaca as well, and in Guerrero. And in Oaxaca, he invited me on several trips where we discovered and mapped more than 20 kilometers of a cave in the Sierra Mazateca in northern Oaxaca. I hope in the early part of 2023 to revive that project in Dave's memory and make a contribution to the study of speleology in that area. And as you might imagine, Dave and I spent a lot of time talking about geology and the geology of caves in those trips. I'll mention a kind of a thing. We used to go, just the two of us, and camp out in the cave. We would survey passage, plot the trajectory of the cave on millimetric paper, and then the following day go in separately to different parts of the cave and cave alone all day long. Don't do this. This is not recommended. It's dangerous. You should never cave alone, but we did it repeatedly. And we laughed about it and had a great time. We could have died, but we didn't, and it was really a great memory. Dave was my friend. As I say, we met when we were 19, 20 years old. We continued our friendship throughout our professional careers. We used to argue a lot about geology. Sometimes he would take one side, I would take another, and then we'd find ourselves having switched sides without even remembering how we started, arguing as passionately about it, and often never coming to a resolution, but that was part of the game, right? We talk about life. We talk about our struggles, things that bothered us. We talk about politics. We talk about women. Dave was a passionate, forceful, sometimes confrontational. Sometimes I'd get really fucking pissed off at him. He was also loyal, kind, and generous. I love Dave, and I miss him very, very much. Here's some pictures. I forgot to run this thing. Here's Dave explaining. He made this cut of some of the alteration at Los Filos to show and compare to other intrusive rocks in the Guerrero Gold Belt. Here he's I don't know, something about superposition. I don't know, whatever that is. There's Dave. Here he's explaining to me how I should order my life, I think. Again, and I'm saying no, it's the other way. Oh, sorry. This is on one of our cave trips in Oaxaca. This was a passage in the cave. There was so much wind blowing through here that we would hold the flagging out, and sometimes it would blow almost horizontal. That was how strong the wind was blowing through there. And if you remember, from my talk last year, I shot back at Dave a little bit about some of his views. I think he was actually right. I wanted to kind of give him some shit about it, but I still say we haven't defined the edge of the caldera, though. Rest in peace, Dave. Que descanse en paz. Minaurum's president, Daryl Rader, is sitting right here, and Daryl has a few words to say and a couple of amusing videos.
Good afternoon. I have a bit of a different list of notes than Steve, and I can see your very comprehensive notes here. Mine are basically a list of his expressions, a number of weird stories about him, and then we'll show some video clips. So I got to know Dave in 2010, actually 2009, when I was interviewed and became the CEO of Minaurum just as it was going public. I think pretty early on, I could tell, at least with David, that we had a pretty similar sense of humor, and his sense of humor struck people differently. A lot of people enjoyed it, a lot of people were offended by it, but it was something that really brought a lot of pleasure over the years, especially considering that at the end of 2012, we entered a pretty bad stretch as a junior company. Well, the entire industry entered a bad stretch. And it was always great that, you could have the risks and uncertainties that come with exploration, but you knew that when you were going to phone up Dave as one of your senior geologists, you'd probably end up with a smile and some funny anecdotes that he had mentioned. So just to begin, I thought I would just rehash some of the stories. One of the things I did with Dave a lot over the years is we had to do a lot of road trips. And these were trips primarily marketing all over the East Coast, for those of you that have marketed on the East Coast of the US, using the Arcella Express, the train between different cities and hammering out city after city. By the time you're done, you're so exhausted, you keep mixing up each other's names. And that was one of the things we did. The other thing is we traveled a lot in Europe and did a lot of marketing over there, where where our primary shareholder base still is to this day. And one of the funny stories that some of you have heard of Dave is, as you know, David really appreciated beautiful women. And when we used to market in Geneva, the fellow who would take us around, I always had problems with David because him and I would be discussing, okay, the next presentation's with so-and-so, this investor wants to see that, where's Dave? And you'd look around and Dave was transfixed on some woman heading down the road, completely oblivious to everything we said. And it to the extent that about 2 years after that, in 2012, we're in Geneva marketing, and we're running between meetings, and a girl walks by, the fellow who's taking around Dave and I'm chatting with him, and we hear this thunk, and we turn around, and David was so transfixed on her, he walked into a stop sign right in the heart of Geneva. And it was, people turned around, and he was a little sheepishly embarrassed, but not too much. It was actually subsequent to that, we went from Geneva to Montreal, and we were up in, I won't say which brokers, but there's one of the BMO brokers in Montreal that has an office in the penthouse, and he has a private bathroom. And we had been doing, this was our 9th meeting of the day, and we had a gal from Euro Pacific Securities taking us around, and yeah, we walked into the office. The gal who was taking us around, institutional sales lady, asked the receptionist, oh, is there a bathroom? And so she said, yep, there's the bathroom. And the lady went in, David went in. I thought, well, they're all going in, I'll go in. And it wasn't a male and female bathroom, it was just one stall. And so we all walked in there, and she was like, yeah, Dave, no thanks. And so I turned around, and we will walk out and stand there sheepishly as the receptionist snicker at us. But there's a lot more stories. A lot of them probably rather not tell because this thing's being videotaped. But we can share that later on. But I'm going to miss Dave, especially for those of you who know his expressions. One of them was, of course, whoa, 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 whoa. He did that whenever he saw something. It could be geological, it could be wearing a dress. It was always whoa, 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 and hello. He loved expressing himself that way. So after PDAC of 2020, that was March of 2020, of course the world started changing. And I talked to Dave about twice a week, if not more often than that. And Dave started going crazy at home. He was sick of being at home. He didn't want to be there. He wanted to be out, but he couldn't cross the border because of everything happening with COVID. So he said, what am I going to do, Daryl? And I said, well, we're down in Mexico. We've talked for years about getting a bit of an insurance policy in Minaurum. And why don't you find us something in the United States? And he said, well, that's an idea. And I said, yeah, but I don't want option agreements and JVs and NSRs. Just find something for Minaurum, 100% out. I'll pay your day rate. And lo and behold, he spent 2.5 months at his day rate traveling the southwestern U.S. looking for projects for us, which was an incredible opportunity. And I'm especially now in retrospect, what happened, it's a great thing for the company that we have a portfolio of projects. Subsequently in Arizona is what he fell in love with after visiting Eastern California, Oregon, driving all across Nevada and Utah during the days of the epidemic. But he fell in love with northwestern Arizona. And I had the ability last year to work a fair bit of time, spend a lot of time with him in the field. One of the things that we did a lot of staking. And basically what happened is, you'll see it in these videos, is, the videos aren't really educational. They're David doing his thing in the field and sending it to us in the office and trying to get us to laugh. But the whole gist was we were going to stake, and we were calling stakers, and we couldn't find a staking group that would come to the area that Dave had found to stake. And he phoned me up, all stressed out. He said, I can't sleep. I know the guys, all these other staking companies are coming to stake where we are. And I said, come on, David, these guys are in Nevada and Montana. They're coming down to northwestern Arizona to stake. At the end of the day, it turned out it was right. All these groups were coming down to stake where David had found something. It just, I guess, word had spread. There's a large mining population in northwestern Arizona that had been keeping their eyes on things, and as soon as they saw Dave in the field for weeks on end, they thought, I better grab that quickly before it's gone. And so the bit of a staking war started. And these are a series of videos that David filmed when he was staking. This is something we haven't announced as a company that we're in another country, but I thought this would be a great chance to, have a last shot at seeing Dave and his sense of humor. So if you wouldn't mind playing all the videos one after the next as they end, please.
Welcome to the Great American Desert Southwest of the state of Arizona. My name is David Jones. I'm the director of Minaurum Gold, and we'll do a little pan here to get you oriented. Today I'm going to take you on a little journey that shows you the real-life situations of exploration geology for a company operating in the United States. Great little panoramic view. And you know, in Minaurum we have a saying, and that is that there's no job too big that the little guy can't handle it, and also there's no job too small that the big guys can't handle it. And somewhere in there I fit in, not sure quite where, but today I'm going to take you on a little journey to see what I'm up to. And if you'll tag along with me, I'll try to keep it oriented. We're working in a, what you might consider to be a high-risk environment here. We've got rattlesnakes, Gila monsters, claim jumpers, lots of claim staking activity. I'm in the middle of a claim staking war right now, if you will. I'm not carrying, but others might be. There are other hazards as well, because we're so close to Las Vegas. I should point out that not only might we run into snakes and Gila monsters, but the body of Jimmy Hoffa could be buried out here somewhere, and you know, you hate to run into those things. So moving right along, what do? We're going to be claim staking today. Here are the implements of claim staking. I will show you. We have an excavation tool. This is for digging holes for the posts. Why do we need to put posts in? Because in Arizona you have to file your claims with markers. This is a 2x2x5. This forms a discovery monument, if you will, that will have paper associated with it. And each corner of the claim will also have a post like this to provide identification so others can find it and hopefully stay away. So join with me today. I hope you enjoy this visit, and hopefully I'll get this done before it gets too hot. So thanks for coming. So good morning to all of you, and welcome to the Great American Desert Southwest in the state of Arizona. My name is David Jones. I'm the director of Minaurum Gold, and we'll do a little pan here to get you oriented. Today I'm going to take you on a little journey that shows you the real life. So good morning to all of you, and welcome to the Great American. Hey guys, okay. Sometime later, I seem to be more or less ready to go. Here's my stuff. I want to run through this. It's very important when you're in the desert, very, very important that you have a checklist of the safety features you need to keep you alive in the desert. So let's run through them. First aid kit, no, I don't have one. Snake bite kit, I don't have that either. Compression bandages, that's safety gear, you don't have that. No extra sunscreen. I'm bringing not enough water, that's all I'm going to bring. But importantly, I'm bringing this. It's coffee. A little Keurig machine thing, I'm not sure how I'm going to make it yet, but I'll figure that out. I got a backpack. And I'll never get a job packing for Amazon.com, but let me just show you my little rig for carrying the posts. Pretty inadequate. Pretty pathetic, but you know, I'm not going to carry them that far, maybe a mile. And it's time to get going. I got some claims to stake, and a beer or two to drink in the afternoon once I get finished. So we'll catch up with you when we get to the site. Bye. Hey guys, okay. Well, it's been a good day, but I've got a 4 or 5 hour hike back to the vehicle, and I'm sure I'll make it. I'm sure I'll be okay. But let's see. But if I don't make it, say nice things about me at the next board of directors meeting, and okay, and yeah, say nice things about the dog, to my dog that I don't have, to my wife. She's not happy with me at the moment. Let's see who else. All the girls that I've loved before. Really, maybe you can help me with that. This bit. So take care, everybody. Bye for now. Hey folks, welcome back to Claim Staking Adventures with Dave Jones, Director of Minaurum Gold. Day 2 of I'm not sure how many days. Can't find any staking contractors to come out and actually do the work the next many weeks. So these are example of what we call location monuments. This is where you put your paperwork so that people can open it up and look at it. That's a location monument for the first school, number 14. Okay. Now, I'd like to reiterate that doing this work sometimes takes you very, very far away from your home, vehicle, and sometimes you're so far away that it can take you hours to get back to your truck. Like, you probably can't even see the truck in this image. And also, we're very, very far away from civilization. So far, in fact, that your sight, you start seeing it. Hey folks, welcome back to, welcome back. Day 2 or 3, claim staking, Minaurum Director Dave Jones here. No job too big for the little guy, no little job too small for the big guy. So, out of water for 2 days now. I'm stuck here, but I got a claim post in. See it right there? Doing my job, doing the Minaurum job. There you go. Look at that beauty right there. Moved all those rocks. Last bit of energy I had. Don't know what to do now. Out of energy, out of water. The truck is, I don't know, 100 yards away. I'm not gonna make it. So I'm gonna put in a call here. Hang on. Okay. Daryl, send out the Minaurum, Daryl, send out the Minaurum Rescue Squad, the SWAT team, rescue team. Okay, Daryl? Oh shit, he hung up. Let me call Sonny. No answer. Well, okay, I guess I'll start crawling back. I don't know what else to do. What's that? Is that a snake? Shit. Go away, go away. Okay, I gotta deal with more important things than talking to you right now, so, hey, it's all good. A few more claims to go. If I make it back to the truck, if I don't get bitten by the snake, if the rescue team comes, I think I'll be okay. So, nice talking to you. Not sure how I'm gonna get this video uploaded if I die, but I'll work on it. Bye for now. Okay? Hey, welcome back.
You can just leave it on that picture, great. Steve, you want to?
Dave was friends of all of us, and he had a great love for Mexico and for exploration in Mexico and an exploration in geology in general. Now I'd like to, if anyone wants to say anything about Dave, please, you're invited.
So, thank you guys, it's amazing what you're doing. David Jones is probably one of the best geologists we'll ever have in Mexico, and he's gone. So there's nothing we can do about it. So it's really great what you're doing right now. We really have to honor what he did, you know. So thank you guys, it's really, really, really appreciated. Thank you. About saying something, I don't know, if something come up to my mind, I will say it, but for the moment, like, I don't know.
Yeah, one of the other things about Dave was, I've been on these committees, and everyone all agreed, and there was Dave. The guy would actually say, stop, no, and he would actually have his opinion, and he would change all the rest. The way to remember Dave is to be Dave. We really miss him. We need people who will actually stop when people are all doing it, and he would change it. We were in the high Andes of Peru, a project called Las Bambas, and Dave was the one who changed the mapping of BHP. He was the one who said no, and he changed the geology. He would come up with the most, I'm going to use his language, fucking, the most stupid, shitty, bad language. Dave would do that, and he would change the geology. And he would go out there and just do it. The funny with the water, he did the same type of thing on the back of burros all over the world, but he would say what he really saw. It would not go with what everyone was doing. The way you remind him for the next 20 years, please, don't do what everyone else is doing. Stand up, speak for yourself. Everyone else was wearing a coat and tie. Dave would wear his clothes. Wear yours.
So I have a good one, and I can explain it still. So I'm in Toronto. I'm walking, and I says it would be very nice to see David Jones, at the PDAC. I'm walking, and he's walking next to me. He says, "What the fuck you doing?" That's amazing. So for me, this guy is sometimes he's mystical. He can do like weird things. Like this one I cannot explain it. So yeah, that's David.
I have to say that when I heard the news of Dave's death, it would have been the 28th of December, and I was very much in shock. And the following morning, I woke up and I had this very strong feeling that he was going to call me and tell me and ream me out for being a jackass for believing the story that he was dead. And he still hasn't called. Thanks to Dave for being my friend and that I could know him. Anybody else? Pues gracias to the Mexico Mining Center por invitarme a hablar sobre Alamos, pero fue una sorpresa el tema. Pero si hay alguna pregunta sobre nuestro proyecto, pues con mucho gusto la contesto si puedo. Pero después. Gracias a ustedes.